Hi Ruby class and welcome to lesson 3, The Pea and the Princess. It's Wednesday the 24th of February and our learning intention is I can talk about a diary. So we're going to be doing those reading vipers again. We're going to be looking for the answers and we're going to be listening carefully to the story. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to go back through my diary map and read the diary to you. So I hope you're sat comfortably and listening carefully. And well done on creating such super story maps. Dear Diary, last week I felt excited because I had been picked off my plant and placed in a little box. The little box had soft tissue inside to protect me from bruising. I knew I had been chosen especially by the Queen for an important job. When the Queen got me out of my special box, she told the Prince, "A real princess will feel this little pea as she sleeps, even if she sleeps on top of 20 mattresses, and you will marry the first girl to feel this pea." So I was put under the mattress, but I was stuck there all week because no one would admit they could feel me. Until I decided to help. One night I whispered in the girl's ear, "There is something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under you." I did this for 3 hours, and at breakfast the girl told the Queen she had slept awfully because there had been something large and round and very uncomfortable under her. After breakfast the Prince planned to marry his princess. As for me, the Queen gave me my very own display cabinet from P. Let's remind ourselves what those vipers are. So when we're using reading vipers, we're looking at the vocabulary, which is the words. We're looking to infer, which means that we come up with some good ideas about the text. We predict, which means we take a guess. We explain, which means we give explanations and reasons for our answers. We retrieve, which you're really good at, and that's when we find an answer in the text. And we sequence, we put things in order. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the diary with my story map so that you can see the words at the same time. Dear Diary, last week I felt excited because I had been picked off my plant and placed in a little box. The little box had soft tissue inside to protect me from bruising. I knew I'd been chosen especially by the Queen for an important job. When the Queen got me out of my special box, she told the Prince, "A real princess will feel this little pea as she sleeps, even if she sleeps on top of 20 mattresses, and you will marry the first girl to feel this pea." So I was put under the mattress, but I was stuck there all week because no one would admit they could feel me. Until I decided to help. One night I whispered in one girl's ear, "There is something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under you." I did this for 3 hours, and at breakfast the girl told the Queen she had slept awfully because there was something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under her. After breakfast the Prince planned to marry his princess. As for me, the Queen gave me my very own display cabinet from P. Now that we've read through the diary and you've had a chance to look at it, we're going to do a sequencing question. So what happened after the Queen put P under the 20 mattresses the first time? What happened after the Queen put P under 20 mattresses the first time? Can you remember? Can you write a little answer or tell your grown-up who can help you to write an answer? Maybe you could draw a little picture. What happened with the last girl that was on the bed? What happened with her? Can you explain in a short sentence what happened with the last girl on the mattresses? Now let's have a look at a vocabulary question. So pause the video if you're not ready yet. What other words could you use to describe the box that P is kept in? They describe it as a little box and they describe a soft tissue. Can you think of different words to describe the box and the tissue? See what you can come up with. Now we're going to do an explain question. What is your favourite part of the diary and the story? And can you tell me why it's your favourite part? Can you use that because word? When you've done that, that's the end of our lesson today. So what I would hope you will do is you will go back through your story map and act it out again. Maybe you can find a different way today. Have you got any costumes? Have you got a real pea in your house that you could use? Get creative, and I can't wait to see pictures of what you get up to in telling the story of the pea and the princess. What I'll do again is I'll put the story at the end of this PowerPoint so that you can listen to the story if you'd like to, and I'll put my story map there too so that you can practice. Thank you very much for your time. Dear Diary, last week I felt excited because I had been picked off my plant and placed in a little box. The little box had soft tissue inside to protect me from bruising. I knew I had been chosen especially by the Queen for an important job. When the Queen got me out of my special box, she told the Prince, "A real princess will feel this little pea as she sleeps, even if she sleeps on top of 20 mattresses, and you will marry the first girl to feel this pea." So I was put under the mattress, but I was stuck there all week because no one would admit they could feel me. Until I decided to help. One night I whispered in the girl's ear, "There is something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under you." I did this for 3 hours, and at breakfast the girl told the Queen she had slept awfully because there had been something large and round and very uncomfortable under her. After breakfast, the Prince planned to marry his princess. As for me, the Queen gave me my very own display cabinet from P. So let's read the story of the Pea and the Princess. It's a lovely story, so I hope you're sat comfortably. Many years ago, I was born in the palace allotment, among rows of carrot and beetroot and cabbage. I nestled snugly in a velvety pot with my brothers and sisters. I felt a tingle. I knew that somehow I would be important. The time came for us to go to the palace kitchen. We were shelled, which is where they take the peas out of the pot, and put in a bowl. We were going to be part of a new recipe. Then suddenly I was picked from the pile. I was put in a little box with a soft tissue to protect me from bruising, and I was taken by the Queen. Look at those funny recipes. Pea and raspberry jelly, petit pois supreme à la mode. I wonder what that is, but raspberry and pea jelly. Ugh. At this point in my story, I'm going to have to give you some background information. Let's start with the Queen. A year earlier, before I even grew on my pea plant, the Queen had been nagging her son. "You are nearly 34 years old, Prince," she said. "It is really high time you married. The public expect it. Your kingdom demands it, and if you are not married within 1 year, I shall stop your pocket money." Hang on a minute, who's telling the story then? The pea? No, surely not the pea telling a story. The Prince got quite a lot of pocket money, and he really didn't want it to be taken away. "I'll start looking for a bride immediately, mother," he answered, and the search began. The Prince travelled the known world. He met princesses of all shapes and sizes, with a wide range of hobbies and interests. None of them seemed really right somehow. Let's look through these princesses. This one was too loud. This one was too quiet. This one was too funny. This one was too grumpy. Oh, this one was too sleepy. This one was too energetic. Blah, 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 blah. This one was too scruffy, and this one was too tidy. This one was too pink, and this one was too this one had strange pets. She's got frogs on her shoulder. How funny. After a year's search, the prince returned home, feeling glum. Oh dear, what's glum? Look at him. He's not very happy, is he? So that's glum. Right, that's it, shouted the queen. She stormed off to the palace kitchen. She came back with me in my little box. Now, said the queen, listen carefully. This is something only queens know. A real princess will be able to feel this little bee as she sleeps, even if she's sleeping on top of 20 mattresses and feather beds. And you are going to marry the first girl who can feel this pea. How many mattresses? How many mattresses does she want them to lay on? Did you hear? 20. Goodness me. Months passed. I spent most nights in the darkness under a pile of 20 mattresses and feather beds and princess. Oh dear, it's not going very well, is it? Months. In the morning, each princess would be asked, "And how did you sleep, my dear?" by the queen. The princesses had been properly brought up, and they always answered very politely, "Like a log, ma'am, thank you," or "Like a baby, thank you, ma'am." And they all said, "What a comfortable bed!" They were, as I said, all very polite. The prince will never find I'm using the wrong voice. The prince will never find a princess at this rate, I thought to myself. I must help somehow. One night a furious storm raged. Rain lashed the palace. Thunder claps shook the walls. Lightning flashed through the window panes. There was a little knock on the palace door. A small wet person stood on the doormat. "Could this be a real princess?" gasped the queen. Before she could say a word, the small wet person was put to bed on top of 20 mattresses and feather beds, with me, of course, underneath. Who's underneath? The bee? I recognised the soft snoring. I must help, I thought. I tried jiggling, can you jiggle? I tried wriggling, can you wriggle? The snoring carried on quietly, can you snore? I must do something, I thought desperately. So he's tried jiggling and wiggling, and that's not woken her up. I inched my way to the edge. Can you do tiny little steps to the edge? And then I started to climb. Get your climbing shoes on. Slowly I struggled to the top of the towering pile. I softly rolled across the pillow. Give me your best roll. Right up to the girl's ear. "There's something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under you," I whispered. And while she slept, I told her about the large, round, uncomfortable thing for 3 hours. So he kept whispering, "There's something large and round and very uncomfortable in the bed under you." Can you whisper that? In the morning, the queen asked the girl how she'd slept. "Oh, it was awful," she sighed. "Something large and round and uncomfortable was bothering me all night." How do you think the queen feels now? The wedding was very grand. The queen was interested to meet the new princess's family. I'm sure they'll all live happily together. And as for me, I became a very important artifact, and now I have my own glass case. I'm on display, and if you visit the right museum and look in the right place, you can have the chance to see me. Who's me? Me is the pea.